Hi, welcome to another episode of what we do here at the FPI Network, and that is help you get your life together, help you become the next best version of who God intended you to be. If you don't know, I am Lady Farley, and I'm the CEO of the FPI Network, and today I have with me two of my branch leaders. They are in the Millennial Division, and this is Asha and Miss Theo. So they're going to tell you a bit about themselves, but I want to tell you what you can expect here today. Today on Sister, Let Me Fix Your Crown. This this episode today is designed to help millennials, not just millennials, because I'm a millennial at heart. And all of you who are feeling young at heart, hey Deke, all of you who are feeling young at heart, this episode is to help you and what you want to do with your life, your mission, your purpose, your destiny. So we're focusing in today on sis, let me fix your crown. We're focusing on one, getting what is getting the bag? How do you get that? And Theo's going to address that with us. And we're also going to talk about showing up in those rooms. How do you show up in those rooms? And I know a lot of us are used to being in rooms, but we shrink back and we have the imposter syndrome that we don't belong there, that God didn't intend for us to be there, especially not in the capacity that we dream of. But today we have Asha who is going to dispel all those myths and to show you how you can show up in those rooms. Show up how you want to be seen. So, today on Sis, Let Me Fix Your Crown, we're going to talk to these two ladies who are going to do something that I feel is very necessary today. It's one of the agendas of my network is to tell women or to let women know that we are not in competition with each other. We are in collaboration. We must, instead of me taking your crown and knocking it off your head, we're here to help each other fix our crowns. Because as women, as queens, as daughters of the king, it is only right that we posture or fix our crowns. And then I just thought of something because this sits on my desk, guys. We're helping you fix those crowns today. And with that being said, let me introduce you to, well, you all know Asha as the Millennial Director, right, of the FPI Network. Now, Asha is not just a strategist when it comes to showing up and how you can look and get yourself together, but she's also a minister of the gospel, and he has this great program. I think that you, your church, your schools, all of you should be getting this, hook up with her to get this into your programs. She talks to children, little black boys, little black girls, and children of color to show them how they were always in the plan of God. We know how ugly racism is, but she talks to children and she lets them know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So I suggest you hook up with her to bring this program to your church. It is a small investment, but it is a powerful one nevertheless. And Miss Theo, I met her, guys. Honestly, I met her and I was saying, you need a crown like this, Cynthia? Don't worry, you're wearing a spiritual one. But when I met Theo, she came to talk with me to the high school students at the Bronx School of Law and Science, and she blew me away. So much so that I pulled her to the side and I said, hey, listen, I want to help you while you're helping other people, but your voice needs a further reach. So I kind of recruited her. Her mom was with her, and I was like, yeah, I like you too, but I need Theo because I need Theo to speak to the younger women. I need Theo to speak to those women who are absolutely in need of her voice. So without further delay, I'm going to ask Miss Theo Benby to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself, and then Asha will do the same.
Okay, well, thank you for that lovely introduction. My name is Theo. I'm 25 years old and I have a financial literacy business that I actually run with my mom. It's called Smart Money Moves. And then we also have an additional platform called Smart Money Moves for Kids. And our mission is simple. It's to empower our community with the knowledge and tools that it takes to build actual wealth. Um, People in our communities, Black, brown, Hispanic, they're often overlooked. And not many people are coming to your door or coming to your schools and teaching you how to put a budget together, how to invest, how to protect your family. So that way, when stuff hits the fan, you don't need to go fund me because your funds will be there. So there's a lot of things that it upsets me that it's not being taught in schools. And I think that it's really, really important that we teach our community how to make the smart money move so that way we will be put in the position so that we can buy our blocks back, so that we can work freely and actually fund things that we're passionate about and not be so stuck and dependent on the government or on handouts and things like that. So that's what Smart Money Moves was created. And we just want to help close that wealth gap. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. Miss Asha?
Hi everyone, I'm Asha. Most of you know me. I wish I could see the names, but everyone who knows me, what's up? Thank you for joining. I'm excited to be here with y'all tonight. I am a creative consultant, so you know that I am a stylist, creative director, style developer, all things fashion, all things beauty and glamorous is what I specialize in. And it's been my passion ever since a child, just because we don't often see people like us on covers of magazines. Before, I think more recently, we've been seeing these doors open. But how do we get those doors open without us showing up, being present in rooms where we speak about each other and bring each other into those spaces? So I have always had a passion for bringing, you know, the younger generation or even just peers into spaces that I've walked in, because all it takes is for one person to get in that door and we can keep that chain going. So I'm excited to be with you guys and share a little bit more.
Well, thank you for that. We have Miss Cynthia and Miss Diamond. I hope you ladies can hear me. If you can, just give me a yes. Great. So we're not going to bring you guys on stage yet. We are first just going to hear we're going to hear a little bit from the ladies. And first, we're going to go into Theo, who's going to be talking to you ladies about how to get the bag, how to get that bag. Okay, Miss Theo.
Okay, awesome. So I put together a little something. It was like how to save when the budget is tight because let's be honest, we can just look around and see that the struggle is kind of real. Maybe not for all of us, but we know somebody that's either overworked and underpaid. Most jobs don't even pay enough to keep up with inflation. So not only are you going to overwork us, but you're not even paying us enough to make ends meet. A lot of us are dealing with student loans and debt. So when money gets tight, we have to turn to credit cards. Well, most of us do. Most of us can't afford the high cost of living. So rent, groceries, gas, it's all a lot for us. And I don't know if everybody is on social media like I am, but if you're around my age, chances are you're also consumed with society's pressure for you to like fit in. So on top of always having to like be the biggest flexer, it kind of leaves you living way beyond your means. And it leaves us not only broke, but like broken inside because you're living a facade. So I'm just gonna go over some things to kind of help us break that cycle. So when I think about finances, I like to kind of imagine three buckets. The first bucket is my spending. So you have your everyday needs, you have your rent, your bill, your food. And then the second bucket would be savings. So this is for your short-term needs and emergencies. And then number three, my favorite bucket, is the investment side of things. So that's where you're planning to grow for your future. So I want you to remember it's not about what you make, it's about what you're doing with the money that you make. So when it comes to spending, I want you to have a key takeaway is to track everything. So the goal is to find the leak and then patch it up. So you want to find out what's draining your funds, and you can't find out what's draining those funds unless you're tracking it and you're seeing, okay, this is what's going out, and then you can make some adjustments. When it comes to savings, that was our second bucket. The goal is to build an emergency fund with about 3 to 6 months of expenses, just so that you can have a nice safety net if something was to come up. If you have to get laid off or take some time off of work, at least you have like a nice little cushion. And then when it comes to investing, there's a lot of different ways to invest. One that I mainly focus on is mutual funds because they're diverse and they're professionally managed. So if you want something that's safer and you don't feel like you're risking all your life savings, I say mutual funds, but we also work with IRAs because they have a lot of great tax benefits. But when it comes to investing, there's stocks, there's bonds, you can invest in real estate. For sake of time, I'm not going to go too deeply into investments because I'll just take up the whole time just talking about different types of investments. But the main takeaway is to make sure that you have all those three buckets and that they're all getting attention. You don't want to neglect your savings, you don't want to neglect your investing, and you want to have spending. You want to be able to spend. I don't think budgeting should be, oh, don't go out to eat or don't have fun. You should have room for all three. Um, but today I want to talk about building the habit because, like I was saying, savings doesn't have to be so painful. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. So I'm just going to go over 4 realistic tips that helped me get started and made it a little bit more, I guess, helped me put my habits in place. And one I already touched on was the tracking my spending. Um, when I was going through my spending, I didn't even realize that I was going out to eat. I used to get a lunch special. It was a Spanish food. I used to spend $12 a day. And I thought, hey, it's just $12. I have to eat anyways. On top of that, I would get a frappe from McDonald's every day. But if you just take into account $12 a day, a month, that's $360 a month. And for the year, that's over $4,000 just on Spanish food. I was spending over $4,000 just on Spanish food. So I'm not saying don't buy food, but I'm saying take into account how much is actually going out and then see if there's a way that you can make some adjustments. Number 2 is to set small and realistic goals. So you want to focus on having an achievable target. You want to start with something realistic. You don't want to say, okay, because I was spending over $4,000 a year on Spanish food, I'm never eating out again. That's not realistic. You want to start where you stand. Maybe you could take away a subscription. Maybe you're paying for Netflix, Hulu, and Apple Music, and you could take away the Hulu and the Netflix. Save $20 a week. That might not sound like much, but that adds up to $1,000 a year. So it's just about starting where you stand and then making those small gains as you go along. The third one, this actually changed my life the most, is automate. Automate everything. It's like the Netflix effect. So I like to use the saying out of sight, out of mind, because if it was up to me, honestly, I don't know if I would fund my investment account every month. Because one thing about me is I like to see money in my bank account. Like I like to see the big numbers. I don't like seeing money leave my bank account. I like it to see it come. So if it was up to me to say pay this, I think I wouldn't do it. But it's because my investments are actually automated. Every single month it comes out automatically. I don't really have to worry about being the one to make the hard decision. So you want to pay yourself like you pay your phone bill. And then live to impress yourself, not others. This was a big one for me. I'm young still, but in my earlier years, I like to say I used to care a lot more about what other people thought about me. So like when it came to shoes or the way I dressed or things I had to realize like stop going into debt or stop almost going into debt trying to impress other people. Social media makes everything look so pretty and glamorized. And honestly, it's not like that in real life. So you want to stop consuming social media all day and you want to use it as a tool to make money and to profit off of it. Don't let it like consume you. So you want to live beneath your means, not above your means. So just because you have it in your bank account doesn't mean that you should spend the money, you know? Do everything in your time. Don't rush yourself into debt. Just because somebody moved out of their parents' house doesn't mean that you should go buy a house too. Run your race, create your own goals, set your own budget, and then make sure that you hit those specific goals, not somebody else's goals. And another rule of thumb I like to say is don't spend it, invest it. So investments come with greater returns. So instead of spending your money, invest it. Instead of spending your energy and gossiping or spending your energy doing things that's going to take life away from you, invest your energy in pouring into somebody else. Invest your energy into praying and getting closer to God. Instead of spending your time, invest it into something that can have an actual return. So you want to remember that if you find yourself seeing that like you're doing a lot, you feel drained, or you feel like you're just doing a lot of output, and you have little to show for it, you want to ask yourself, am I spending my time, or am I doing a lot of spending, or am I doing investing? And then you want to kind of adjust accordingly. So just some takeaways that I hope you got out of today, or that I want you to keep in mind, is one, create a budget. If you need a budget sheet, just hit me up. I have some budget sheets that you can use that help me. Uh, Track your spending. There's apps. I hear people talk about Mint app. They use that for tracking their spending and for budgeting. Or you could just do what I do and do like a little T chart in your notes. It could be simple. Set up your buckets. You want to have your spending account, you want to have your emergency account, and you want to have your long-term investment account. If you need help setting up any of those, or you need to know the differences between those accounts, again, I got you in a time where we have more time to talk. And then write your goals down. You want to write your goals, you want to make them plain, and you want to focus on hitting those goals that you wrote down. Don't worry about the people that are watching or what everybody else is doing. Just focus on your goals. And I think that's all I got for you guys today.
So let me first of all, you just helped me get my life together. Really. Now I have been doing this for over 25 years, and I do have those three buckets. I have my spending account, I have my savings, I have my investments, all of those things. My retirement money, I have all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm doing good. But I just realized a couple days ago that I don't track my spending. Like you said, you're spending $4,000 a year in fast food, right? Or easy food, the Spanish food. So I was just
Mm-hmm.
going through my accounts looking, and I didn't realize I was paying for some subscriptions twice, twice the same
See,
subscription, twice. And I also didn't realize that I was spending so much money on something frivolous, and I'm too even ashamed to admit what it was, but it's like $2.99. And every time I do this, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, get it. And I looked at it a couple of days ago, and in a week um I spent $21. That means I did this small little thing 7 times in one week. So I think that that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal information. And you said a lot. One thing that really touched me, and I think that, and like you said, when you're younger, which you are still young, but when you were younger, you spent a lot of your time trying to impress people who probably didn't care about you, right? Or people who
right.
probably weren't good friends. You wanted to look like them, you wanted to impress them with your shoes, and to go broke, but then to be broken. So I love that you can be broke and broken. And I know that the world says that there's this, I think it's a slogan, it's like, don't go broke trying to prove to people that you're not broke.
Right, exactly.
And that is a lot. One of the other things that and I'm going to hit you up for that budget sheet. I have one this coming Wednesday. I'm going to Our Children. They are a women's organization that help women who have spent time incarcerated. I'm going to them this Wednesday to talk to them about budgeting and finances and all of that. And we're going to talk a little later because they're not at this state. This is an introductory. to what savings and finances can be. But I do suggest to everyone out there, I'm in my 30 something years old, and I just said that, Theo taught me a lot. And I don't want you to allow your pride to get in the way. If you need to reach out to Theo, you can do that. Yes, someone just asked for your email address, which I will put it I will put it in the chats, or I'll probably come back a little later after these upload, because now I'm getting questions, and I'll circle back to that, I promise. Um, One, there was a question that came in for you, Theo, and the question is, in today's society, how much money does a person have to make to be truly wealthy today? Like, what's the dollar amount? Is it $10,000 a year, 50, 60, 80, 90, 100? What is the amount?
So it kind of depends on the person and what they need. Typically, we do something that's called the financial independence number. It's actually a calculation that we do specific to people, and it tells them how much they need to specifically retire, depending on what their age is, and then how much they would need to hit whatever goals they do have. But I have heard people say that you cannot really be financially independent if you have less than 10 million. Now I'm hearing. So I know that's a big goal for you to say, and it depends on what financial independence is to you. But I'd start with $1 million. But I'm hearing some people on the wealthier end say that they couldn't breathe without at least having 10 million worth of assets. But it depends on what you want.
So before I went into retirement, I sat with my broker, my financial advisor, and he says, listen, Lady Farley, you need to have $8 million to retire today. So for anyone who's thinking that they're going to have $1 million, that's not going to be enough. Let me go to our guests. Let me ask Miss Cynthia, did you want to come to the stage and ask a question? Okay. Diamond's not there, so I'm assuming that it's no. But Diamond, if you do have a question, you can step to the stage and ask. Okay. So let me just recap. Ladies, get your three buckets together. Ladies and gentlemen, I see you, gentlemen. Thank you. Um, get your buckets together. Your spending, don't forget to track your spending. Get your savings. Um, you have at least 3 to 6 months of emergency funds in those savings, and get your investments together. A common investment is a mutual fund because it is managed. They're always managed accounts, and that's where you want to start. But another great thing that you said that I thought was really key for anyone, not just millennials, not just young ladies, but set small yet realistic goals. Budgeting doesn't have to be crazy. When we think of budgeting, we think of diets, right? If you go on a diet, you say, that's it. No sugar, no bread, no butter, like nothing. And then by the third day, you're like, oh, you just go and you do all the McDonald's, the French fries, and you get the pizza, and you get every chocolate, every candy bar, and you get the soda. You do that because you were on such a strict regime that you couldn't, there was no flexibility. And the same goes with your financial budgeting. Leave room for, let's say, maybe a movie, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a double mocha frappe. Leave room for something so that you don't get crazy, so that you're not at midnight on the phone, which I'm not saying that I do, but you're not on the phone on Amazon, and you have like 80 things in your cart, and you just go, I have the money to purchase, do it. You just don't become consumed by the fact that you've had the money, and now, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to treat myself. So budgeting is fun. And think of one of the key things that you said also, Theo, for those of you who are just joining, and I see the questions coming in. We're going to circle back, but I want to move on to our next speaker. But if you're just joining us, you'll be able to hit the replay either on LinkedIn YouTube, or Facebook, and you'll be able to catch the replay because you have missed a wealth of information. Miss Theo was kind enough to take her time out today to tell us how you ladies can fix your financial crowns. It's important to fix. Your Diamond says she's guilty of the Amazon cart shopping. You know what? I think a lot of us are, Diamond. A lot of us, if it's not Amazon, if it's not Shein, it's oh, so you guys don't want to act like you don't know Shein. Okay, okay, okay. It's just me.
I'm guilty
Whatever.
of cheating.
Right, whatever it is, when you have all those things in your cart and you saved up enough money, you're like, I saved up enough money for this. Theo mentioned, are you spending or are you investing? Think of your financial life like your personal life. Remember, I just compared your financial life to a diet. Think of your financial life to your personal life. You don't want to be spending, spending, spending. The same way you don't want to go places or do things that are just a waste, that are just depleting you. You need something to restore and to build you up. And with that being said, I'd like to bring our next speaker. I told you all a little bit about her. If you don't know, for those of you who will catch this replay, if you're saying I look pretty like her, you're right, because she's my kid.
I look pretty like you.
No, I'm trying to be like you. But Miss Asha, she is a phenomenal person, not just because she's my kid. I try to be like her. And much like Theo, she's another woman, a young woman that stands out to me as someone who's creating their own path. They're not looking for other people to tell them what should I do, which way should I go. They're actually finding their own paths and illuminating those paths so that there are people who are coming behind them, the way will be made easy. And I think that's the thing that we ought to do as women anyway. We're so busy saying, I got mine, you get yours. How about you say, I have my crown, let me help you fix yours. Adjust it this way, sis. I got you. So, with that being said, Miss Asha, please introduce yourself.
Hi. Well, I don't need to introduce myself. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Mother. I am holding my notebook because I was writing down so many things that Theo was saying. So, Theo, shout outs to you because I am going to start. Well, I track my spending, but I am guilty of not changing habits. And I think that for 2025, it is the year to change habits. I don't think that the world is going to get better for making money, especially if you are a person of color. So I think as much as you can save, Theo, I wrote that down, automate. I'm just going to send it straight when I get that check, just send it straight to the savings. Don't even think about it. This way I'm not up buying that Shein and stuff. But I'm here to talk about identity and authenticity. And it kind of ties into what Theo said because oftentimes we go broke trying to impress people. We're broken, so we think that the things that we do that can easily relate to people make us who we are. And I think that my life has been a testament of knowing who you want to be and aiming, shooting like darts in the dark, trying to get to that person. But I think now that I've entered into my 30s, that you take the time and you kind of do character inventory. You do your character tracking, like how you would track your bank account. You have to kind of track who you are as a person and take account of all those things that you like, that you don't like, things that you can cut back on, things that you need to invest in. And that's what I want to speak to you guys about. So I chose authenticity as something to speak about just because of a conversation that I had recently with one of my good friends. And he mentioned that he recognized a change in me. And he was like, I've always known you to be your own person. I've always known you not to really carry, the weight of the world that would make you want to be like others. Like you aren't easily impressed or influenced. But lately, you've been kind of moving differently. And I took it, I wanted to. Like in my life, I'm like, you know what, I need to make a change. I prayed. I was like, God, help me do this thing differently. Help me to be all you want me to be. And it's just so funny to hear someone call it out, because oftentimes we aren't true to who we want to be, true to who we are. But my question I want to pose to everyone on the watching the live or who will watch the replay is, who do you want to be? Who is that person? And I think oftentimes we pray like, I just want to be the best person I want to be, but we don't know who we want to be. We have these images of people that we look up to, that we aspire to, but what is it about them that inspires you? And are you mimicking that? Do you just want to be like their lit part of their life? Like you see them always shopping, you see them always doing whatever you think is cool. Is that what you want? Or are you aiming for something bigger in their life? Because material things, like Theo mentioned, they're easily fakeable. You can easily go into the club, get you a bottle, get you a section, go home, air mattress, no couch, living in, crazy situations. So what are you aspiring to? Who who is your ideal person, and what about them is that ideal character to you, right? Also, I don't know if anyone here, I can't see, like I said, I can't see who's online. But if you know me, you know that I am a notebook queen. I write everything down because the memory is horrible. So if it sounds like I'm reading, it's because I am. Um, so who do you want to be? Who is that person? Now, I want you to think about who God wants you to be. And I'm here to speak on the spiritual level because that is my lane. As you see, I am bridging faith and fashion. Who does God want you to be? I think oftentimes we want to be something, and that thing we want to be isn't easy. And I shared this recently. Like, the person I want to be the hot girl standing on sofas every weekend, bottle section. I go to the gym. I want to have the mini dress on. And I thought about when I lived a life like that. I'm like, it was cute, but it was never fun. Coming home early mornings on trains, everyone's heading to work. I'm rushing home to change out of my party outfit, brush my face, brush my teeth, take a shower, and go to work. Like, it was never fun, those morning afters from the life that I wanted. I wanted the party girl life. But now when I think about the life that I'm living, and it's the lifestyle that God intended for me, I feel so much freer. I feel so at ease. So if I can give you a second point, aside from thinking about who you want to be, think about who God wants you to be, because I guarantee you that path is so much easier. And I'll use easy with quotations, because we often know that God would put us through tests that only build us, they don't break us. There's going to be days where it's cloudy, where it's rainy, but those are days just to help you grow. There is going to be a rainbow, and you will sprout from those things. But it is so much easier. Trust me. Speaking from experience, trust me. Um, when I thought about like who God intended for me to be, and I shared with you that my friend said that he saw this change in me, that brings me to authenticity. I think a lot of the times we get inspired by people, and then we want to recreate what they did. We want to be the exact mold that they came out of. And people can tell when you aren't being true to yourself. When you are just going with the flow, even if people don't say it to you to your face, they are behind closed doors, or even inwardly thinking like, that person's a follower. And I can say that because I am that person. When I see someone who's not in their element, they're just going with the flow, I'm like, oh, they're kind of a follower. And it's not from a judgmental stance. It's just from a, people recognize, like, we aren't fooling people. And I think now that we know that people are living just for Instagram, they're living just for a moment that you can click on, they're living for the 30-second reels. People can tell that, this is not really a real life. Like we can tell when you go to a hotel to film like you're in your home. Like people can fish that out. So I want to encourage you with some scriptures, and one of them is Romans 8:37, and it says, "In all things we are more than conquerors through Him." And then there's also Joshua 1:9, and it says, "Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid nor dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with you wherever you go." So Joshua 1:9 is really reminding us that no matter who God plans for you to be, if you stay to that path, He will go with you. Whatever you do will pop. It will be cool. It will be something that people connect to you. And side story, I wore my turban tonight because I remember a time where I was like, oh, my hair looks crazy. I'm just gonna throw a turban on because I saw someone else do it, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, if it's really like my style. And I took seeing something from someone else, and now I've been coined the turban mommy. It's okay to see someone do something and try it. It's okay to try things. I'm not saying don't be inspired by. I'm not saying that you can't see someone doing that and you want to also do that, but you have to turn it into you. You have to flip that script and make that thing that you saw pop for you. Now you can't see someone without a turban and not think like, "Oh, my friend Asha." You would think about a turban when you see me, but when I see this turban, I see this girl that I randomly saw on Instagram like, "Oh, that's so chic, that's so cute." And I was just covering up a bad hair day. So I say that to say that authenticity sometimes comes from practice. It comes from doing things over and over. It comes from repetitiveness. It comes from putting your own flair on it. So don't just take one thing that you see from someone and do it exactly how they do it every single time. You want to flip that script. You want to make it your own. You want to add your own personal flair on it. And when I was writing my notes, I wrote that there is no failure, only growth. So even if you are trying something and it doesn't work out the way you intended the first time, keep going. I think even Rihanna has that tattoo, never failures, only lessons, or something like that. It's true. There is no failures. If you fall down and you get back up, you would know what made you fall the first time and you will do it differently. Each time you fall is another chance for you to try again. So I want you to be encouraged to show up as yourself. I know that confidence is a harder character trait to have. Like it's easier said than done. Sometimes I'm like, man, my forehead with my turban, but I walk out anyway. Confidence is one of those things that you have to also practice. Confidence, authenticity are practicable traits. Those are things that you gain the more you do something, the more you try. Don't be afraid of feedback and criticism. People will tell you, like, hey, I don't think this works for you. But if it's something that you want, you keep going for it until they're like, you know what, I see where you're going with this. And lastly, I want to leave you guys with a few examples just of people who had character flaws, but those flaws made their story. So when you think about the woman at the well in John 4, she was someone who knew multiple people. We'll keep it like she knew multiple people. She was someone that people took her word for it. So when she went to tell people about the good news of Christ, they took her word for it because she was a credible source. Also, Rahab in James 2:25, she was the woman who hid the disciples or some ministers in her home so that they wouldn't be executed. And God counted her as righteous. Everyone else thought that she was a filthy, vile person. But because she was someone who welcomed men into her home often, wink, wink, she was able to hide these men and God honored her. And then lastly, there's Abraham. Abraham in Exodus 4:10, he speaks about having a speech impediment and not wanting to speak. And God corrects him like, did I not make you? Did I not give you this speech impediment? You are a leader. So if you are ever feeling like you are too flawed for your journey, if you don't know who this person is that you want to be, if you cannot see that person, I want to remind you that it is always a good time to go to God in prayer and say, God, who do you want me to be? Not who do I think I am, not who I want to be, but God, who do you want me to be? And because He is faithful and just to fulfill every promise to you, you will be that person. If you have a notebook like me and you're writing some notes, you can write down Romans 8 and 37. This is your homework. You can go research these scriptures for yourself. Romans 8 and 37. Read 1 John 4 and 4. I gave you Joshua 1 and 9. I gave you Second Timothy, or I haven't given Second Timothy, but Second Timothy 1 and 7. And I just want you to think on those things, put them on your mirror, recite them to yourselves, use that as a rule of thumb when you're trying to do something differently, you're trying to step into something differently. God is always for you, He's never against you. So I want to encourage you, ladies, to find your identity. Let that be found in Christ, and find your authenticity. Be true to your path, to that walk, to your story, and share that story. I'm only sharing this because it inspires others. So your story can inspire someone else. And that's it for me.
Thank you. You and Theo were like, that's it. That's all I got. You both have, shared such a plethora of information. You dropped some nuggets that anyone who is really, like, let's say you don't, and although we said this is an address, a talk to young ladies, this can be applied to anyone's life, like no matter who you are, where you're coming from, what stage of life you're in. Practical financial money tips is a must, and the reminder of it, like I told you, I've been doing this for years. The reminder of it is such a good practice. So I don't think that you ladies know you how you much you've helped me fix my crown. That Cynthia's waving her hand. She's like, yes, yes. She's going woo woo. So I say that to say, I can't thank you enough for your time, but I do thank you both for honoring the call on your life, for honoring you understood the assignment. Thank you for that. I would like to recap, if I may, some nuggets that I got from you, Asha. Aside from, I'm going to read Romans 8 and 31. I'm going to reread it because Romans 8 and 28 is my favorite scripture. So I want to see how that ties in to what you have said. But I think that when we are doing our character inventory, right? We always need to do character inventory. I myself, I try to do it often, especially on days that I fly off the handle. I'm like, something is wrong with my character. But I have always been a no nonsense person. That's how God made me. I'm a no nonsense person. I've never been, I don't spend my time, I invest my time, which is another point that Theo brought up to us. I invest my time. I don't spend my time gossiping. I'm never on the phone. I don't have time to talk about people. Only little people talk about people. I spend time with big people who talk about doing things and making progress. That I do. So I don't like to waste my time. I try to always do a character inventory. And for someone who, if you just want to know what type of things should be in your character inventory, you can reach out to Asha. She gave some really great points. She said that the first thing she wants to do is to find out who do I want to be. The second thing is, who does God want me to be? And you often find that those things are so tightly woven, they're so correlated, you don't even know it because the things of God are so intrinsic, they're so personal. That's why you can't waste your time trying to be like other people. Be as authentically you as you can, because as Asha said, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And I think that we used to have a saying back in the day. It says, practice makes perfect. And if you practice being you, you will become your most perfected self. And there is there's always room for that. For no matter where you are, if you're on Wall Street or if you're at McDonald's, no matter where you are or who you are, if you show up as your most authentic self, the people in the room will notice you. And one good thing that Asha pointed out, and I laugh at this all the time. Like I speak and I travel all the time, and I meet people who are trying to be other people. And you can tell they're trying to be other people. You can tell that this is not who they are. Sometimes even their voice changes, their demeanor changes. They even try to sound like the person, they make the gestures to be like that person. And you can tell it's like it's almost like a, I'm not going to say a monkey, but it's it's almost like a program because they're doing stuff like that's not them. And people know this. I think in the world they say real recognizes real. So, right? So
Yeah,
you want
facts.
you want to show up and be your most authentic self. And you said that there's no such thing as failure, only growth. I think that so many women, especially between, and this is a statistic and it is true, women between the ages of 18 and 35, they quit things when it don't work because they take it as a failure. But instead, it was God saying, okay, try it again. And then you try it again. And then you try it again until you're no longer trying it. You are doing it. You are walking in it. It's like children when they first learn to walk, they stumble around, they fall on their little butts, and they get back up and they take steps and they fall down, and you encourage them to get back up. I think that it's important for us to do that in our own individual lives as well. And there's no unfortunately, younger people don't have the monopoly on feeling like failures. You could be my age and or older or however, and feel like I am a failure. You can relate, Cynthia. You can relate. Yes, you feel like, whoa, this didn't work out for me. Like, would you like to come to the would you like to come? Okay, coming, bringing you to the stage. Hi, Miss Cynthia.
You're on mute.
Hey, Miss Asha. Hey, Thea.
Hi.
Yeah, I can so relate with what you're speaking on, Miss Farley, because I'm in that stage. It's about 3 more months, and I'll be hitting the big 60. I'm not afraid to tell my age.
Yes.
60, and I do need my crown, ma'am. I need my crown. No, but in the last several months of this year, I've been feeling that renaissance of what you're speaking. You know, it's a truth. It doesn't matter what stage you are in this life. If you're feeling that way, you're going to feel that way. But taking the nuggets that you ladies have just, put out there, even somebody of my significant age can use that. I can glean from it. I most definitely will. And Miss Theo, I will be in touch with you. Most definitely. I want to get more information about financial literacy and things because, I have a next generation that I have to, be an example for. And I want to be able to leave something for that beautiful, and I'm just so godly proud of you ladies. I really am. Keep pushing, as you were saying in your presentation. Keep pushing, keep being authentic, because authenticity will open doors where you wouldn't even think of it, how authenticity will open so many doors. So guys, thank y'all so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do Alexis or Diamond, do you guys have any questions? Yes, nay? Thank you, Cynthia, for that. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. So I want to say this. What one of the purposes of my network, and the network ranges from women who are millennials to women who are mature. And Cynthia, if you look like you, I would say I was 60 all the time because no one would believe it. But, you know, what we do is fix each other's crown. Simple as that. You know, your financial crown, your value, your true self, your image crown, they're all important. You need them. You need them to walk through this life. But I am astonished. I am blown away by you ladies and who you are. I always say if there had been a me in my life when I was young, I would be ruling the world right now. If I had someone to pour into me what I'm pouring to others, I would be ruling the world right now. But Theo and Asha, you are that someone for someone who is needing an inpouring. There's so many cups out there, but what you have done today, you have poured from yourself. And I never believe that if you pour out that it will be in vain. I always believe that you pour out so that so that someone else can be filled up. And thank you, Diamond, for that statement. Thank you. I love you, Diamond. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you and the new little one. But Diamond said, I just want to thank you ladies for the information and your time. I definitely needed to hear these gems at this time. Continue to spread your light. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're spreading and sharing the light. The light is not to be hid in a bushel. The light is not to be tucked away. It is to shine so that men would see it. And I'm so honored, Miss Theo and Miss Asha, that you allow me to learn from you, to glean from you, and be on this journey with you. I have to say, sidebar, because I'm your mom. I never saw you as a party girl, Asha. Even though you finished college, and I didn't know you were popping bottles, and I didn't know you were the bottle girl. But
Yes, that's why I was borrowing money in college. I was spending my last.
but I have to say,
Yes.
every stage of your life, you you're a fine example of what it is to be accountable, because you never strayed. You did have fun. You may have went a little crazy. Thank God I didn't see it. But I just think that that is a testament to someone who may be at home feeling like I can't do this. I'm messing up. Like, there's no way I can get it right. I'm messing up. I'm failing. I'm doing something wrong. There's always room to get it right. Always. Even me at this big age, I wake up and I say, God, I messed that up yesterday. I turn to my husband many days and say, I'm sorry. I should not have responded like that. I got it wrong. It's okay. Alexis says, what are your thoughts on trying to take on aspects of yourself as a child and keeping the refinement of your adult self to grow? So I think that let me read it again. Alexis says, what are your thoughts on trying to take on the aspects of yourself as a child and keeping the refinement of your adult self to grow? Can you answer that, Asha?
I love that question because it's just so great that I'm on this call with my mom. So the person who's known me the longest, um, and who knows that one thing that I pride myself on is integrity. The person that I am today has been the same person I've been since a child. And my mom always laughs at me and teases me because she's like, when you were a kid, you loved taking naps. I'm an adult. I love taking a nap, you guys. I think there's so many things about me that I'm still that person that I was, that I can remember being as a child. And I think that we tell ourselves like, I have to grow up. And there are things that you do have to grow out of. Like I said, I had my party girl phase. Here I am at my big age. I cannot be that girl. So there are things that you have to grow up from. But I think if it is something that is just intrinsically you, if you just love taking naps, it's okay to be that person in your adult life who likes to take naps. If you are someone who you love reading, it is okay to go ahead and expand and read more as an adult. I think it really depends on what type of traits that will be beneficial to who you are becoming, not who you already are. There are some traits that we just are that aren't good. They, you know, we are flawed. We're humans. I like I said, I love partying. I love being out late. There are things that with that lifestyle that just don't align with my lifestyle now. So if you have those traits that don't align with the future you, they don't make you feel good when you think about it, when you have to like think back like, okay, I'm a person that likes to talk. Am I spending time talking about people, or am I spending time talking to people to build them up? You have to kind of know what is a good side and a negative side of those traits. So if you're young, you have a lifetime of realizing what is working for you and what's not. But I think the earlier you start to realize like, okay, this is a temporary trait that's not going to get me far, is the faster you can become someone who you want to be.
I
If that answers the
that
question.
that was I sorry
And shout out to Alexis, shout out Diamond. Diamond, you guys, is my oldest friend. We know each other since first grade. Okay, so shout out to my best friend on the line.
okay. Um, well, oh, Cynthia says the secret sauce to keeping yourself young. I think being authentic and being holding yourself accountable is the secret to keeping yourself genuinely young. And Alexa's question, I believe, and that was a great. I love how you put that. You have to measure what was working for you then versus what's working for you now. You know, when you were that age, you didn't need to grow. This age, you need to grow. And you have to be able to do a check on both of those things. But sometimes there are times, Alexis, so just to address you, I think that there are times when you say, hey, I need someone to guide me in this. Like, I don't really know how to start saving. You can look to Theo or someone who says, I'm kind of ashamed of some of my choices. I don't know how to show up as me versus being that party person, you know, that I want to be. Like, how do I fix that? And Diamond said she has to correct you. She's known you since daycare. Get it right, she says.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell that Diamond. I was trying not to age us.
But Miss Alexis, I think that, you know, this talk today was about helping another woman straighten her crown. I'm here to help you if you need. Theo is here to help you if you need. Asha is here to help you if you need. Sometimes we don't even know that our crown is crooked because our perspective is always skewed, it's always off. You need someone to straighten you up and say, hey, sis, that's not how you wear your crown, and fix it for you. There's always someone willing to do that for you here at the FPI network. And I'm going to read this one. Yes, you're never too old to learn anything new. But with that being said, I thank you ladies for your time. Miss Theo, if you could, I want to talk reference of, let's say, for a mom, and I want to set up a 529 for my child. What's the youngest I can set up a college savings plan for my child?
Infancy stages. You could set up a 529 plan for your child that's not even born yet.
So for all you moms out there, you heard that you can start saving for your child's college career right now at this very moment. So again, I'm going to thank you, Miss Theo, Miss Asha. I am I am but a reflection of you, and I thank you for being here today. I thank you for your time. It was not spent time spent in vain. It was well spent. I always say if we help just one person, then we have done the job. We have understood the assignment and we've done the job. So everyone watching us, we want to say thank you. We appreciate you spending this time with us. You'll catch us again. We'll be back soon. As a matter of fact, this Thursday we're going to have some more tips on marketing. So you can catch us this Thursday at 7 p.m. I'm going to be speaking with one of the ladies from my network. Her name is Nicole, and I'll put a flyer up of that. Follow us on social medias. We are the FPI Network. I am Lady Farley. I'm the CEO of the FPI Network, and as always, our doors are open. Registration is open for you. We hope that you would take this time to connect with us, because the vineyard is vast and we can't do it by ourselves. Good night and be well.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.